All right, let's jump into the abandonment of Philoctetes. This was a nice image because it was a more straightforward, sort of streamlined, more simplistic image. You know, you have a figure in the foreground, Philoctetes with the bows and arrows of Heracles, and then you've got the ship of the Greeks sailing away, abandoning him on this island on the coast. So this was a nice change of pace because it wasn't a illustration with a group of characters and architecture and all kinds of other complex details and stuff. So this was nice to kind of have a little bit more of a simplified, straightforward illustration this week. So yeah, just figuring out my pose, making sure that it feels like he's kind of limping, that he's not completely balanced or secure on his leg, his injured leg. And then I start drawing the ship here, but I do run into a little bit of trouble realizing I'm doing the ship more in profile and I want to do it more in perspective, with foreshortening and stuff, which, I'll be honest, I tend to do my art in more profile style shapes. So doing things in perspective, foreshortening doesn't really come naturally to me. So sometimes I have to force myself to remember to kind of challenge myself to do things in more spatial perspective. Yeah, throwing down some colors here, base colors, just to kind of get the thing started. Um, and you'll see I'm repositioning some of the line art. So even when we do the line art and bring it in to paint it and start moving into colors and stuff, there's always an opportunity to reevaluate the proportions or the scale of the character, and the objects within the scene, and making sure that you like the angles and the way that the eye is moving and things like that. So that's what's great about the color sketch stage, is you can very, very quickly, and the resolution of this is not super high either. So it really does feel like a work in progress and something I'm not too attached to. It's really just kind of, well, it's a sketch. It's a color sketch, right? It's not the final. So yeah, playing around with the values here between him and the mountains behind. I couldn't decide if I wanted him to be dark and the background to be lighter, or if I wanted him to be lighter and the background to be darker. So I'm kind of playing around with that. And then here I'm trying to figure out how I can make it visually clear that his wound is sort of infected and festering. And so I went with this almost like a green smoky kind of thing. So yeah, I think it turned out pretty good, and I hope you like it.